The Socio-Economic Rights and Accountability Project, SERAP, has threatened to take legal action against the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, if the body fails to extend the deadline for voters' registration across the country. In a statement on its verified Twitter handle, while reacting to the extension of party primary elections, SERAP urged INEC to extend the same gesture to voters' registration to enable eligible Nigerians register for their permanent voter cards.
Now, recall that the electoral body had on Friday, the 27th of May, extended the deadline for political parties to conduct their primary elections by 1 week. The new deadline is expected to elapse on the 6th of June. SERAP said that following the extension of party primaries deadline by INEC, we call on the body to immediately extend voters' registration exercise to also give more time for Nigerians to exercise their rights. We'll sue INEC if voters' registration is not immediately extended. Now, to give us more insight on the proposed suit, we have the Deputy Director of SERAP, Kolawole Oluwadare. Good morning. Thank you very much for joining us.
Good morning. Thank you. I'm happy to be here.
All right, now let's get into it. First of all, what were your thoughts on INEC extending the time frame for the party primaries?
Really, just like every Nigerian, we could not really understand the reason. That is not to say that INEC does not have the statutory powers to do this, but just like we've seen more often than not under these administrations, actions are taken that may not necessarily be in the interest of democracy. And that is why we think in this instance, the same should be done for the electorates who are the very important stakeholders in this democratic practice. But really, INEC did not really come out to tell us any reason why that is done, and that has left Nigerians with some sort of conjecture as to why the reasons are. That really is not really itself good in the interest of democracy. The reasons must be clear. Statutory powers must be exercised judiciously in a way that it favors the people. And so we're yet to hear from INEC and everything, but the least the INEC can do is to ensure that people who are eligible to vote are given ample and enough time to register and to vote.
Well, Mr. Oluwadare, what does this say about the priorities, the things that Nigeria's electoral system places priority on, if it is so hard to convince the Independent National Electoral Commission to give voters more time to get registered? You know, and of course, I'm sure that you definitely have been a part of those who have been clamoring for more Nigerians to be a part of the electoral process. So what does this say about our priorities?
Thank you very much. Really, and that's we have done a lot of work along with every other Nigerian or civil society organizations to encourage civic participation, which has been at an all-time low since 1999. So this kind of action again speaks to where the importance we place on specific stakeholders in the democratic practice. Even in the art of governance itself, we've seen government not really think that citizens and the input of citizens are very important. And the same government will want citizens to register to vote, which is why part of the advocacy that SERAP has been involved in is not only to encourage people to register to vote, but to also engage with government, holding government to account, as it were, within every 4-year cycle. So it does not stop with elections, it goes on after the elections. But this action of INEC, as we've seen, doesn't appear to place premium on the electorates. And you will understand that electorates are a very integral, very important stakeholder in the electoral process. Really, without citizens, without the electorates, can we even have an election, so to speak? And we've seen, and this is not to say that maybe INEC has not done well in the drive to get people to register, but more needs to be done, particularly within the context of this extension that have been granted to political parties to conduct their primary. So it's simply a case of what is source for the goods is source propaganda. And really, it would be inappropriate and a spite on electorates and anti-democracy for INEC not to extend the same gesture to electorates.
Now, the Socio-Economic Rights Accountability Project is one organization that is known to hold the government by the jugular. I mean, we had you on the show a few weeks ago talking about another suit. How do you see this playing out? Do you think that INEC will listen to what SERAP is asking for, listen to the cry of Nigerians asking for an extension of voters' registration deadline, or do you think that they will go ahead with making everything final as it is?
Thank you. I recall when you spoke earlier, what we said we'll do is not a threat. It is an action we will take if advocacy overtures. Of course, litigation is also part of advocacy. But we expect INEC to listen to the yearnings and demands of Nigerians, not SERAP. Just between 2 or 3 days, I will put out that tweet on our social media and send a letter to INEC. We've gotten more than 400 Nigerians who have indicated their interest in joining the suit to compel INEC to do the lawful thing. So that itself speaks volumes for what the people want. And we would expect no less from INEC. And if INEC does not listen to this demand, of course, we'll end up in court. Not because litigation is something we like to do, but because as law-abiding citizens, the court, the judiciary, is the last hope of the common man. And we at SERAP also believe so much in the judiciary to do justice in this instance. We understand the short time frame and the importance of speeding things up. That is why we will end up in court fast to ensure that the court compels INEC to obey the laws and do what is needful in the interest of democracy.
Mr. Olodare, I want you to also speak about the attitude of Nigerians. Some people may argue that no matter how much time is given, a lot of Nigerians still wouldn't register. And that's maybe one of the reasons why INEC, has fixed its date, and is being strict with it. If you remember also how the NIN battle has been going for quite a while now. So do you think this might also be one of the, challenge that we need to, to fight?
We are yet to get official figures from INEC as to the exact number of people that registered and how that is progressing. But we cannot have enough. It would appear from indications of information in the public domain, there's been an upsurge in the number of registrations compared to previous times. But that doesn't mean that apathy, that angst that we've seen from Nigerians has died out. It is still at an all-time high where people do not trust government, as it were, and the civic participation is not that robust, which is why INEC must demonstrate that good intention to encourage people to register. No time can be enough, we understand. But if INEC can extend time for party primaries, then really, why not extend this, given the importance? And if you ask me, on the pyramid of stakeholders in the democracy, electorates are far more important than even the political parties. So why not? We see no reason why this should not be done. To encourage Nigerians to have trust in the governance in this electoral process and then in governance, which is what comes after election, which is again a very good point while these must be done. And it will really send a strong message to electorates that INEC really means well and intends Nigerians to participate. And the example of the NIN that you get, really, that is another different ballgame entirely. In the case of the NIN, we have government setting deadlines without putting in place the necessary logistics to make sure that Nigerians can register fast and easily. And you see all the NIN centers all over, including in Lagos, are overfilled with people queuing up even before the offices are open. And so those deadlines appears to be putting the cart before the horse. But in this instance, I really believe that extending the deadline will allow more Nigerians to vote because it is in the public interest, it's in the interest of democracy, and most importantly, INEC has those statutory powers to do so.
All right, Mr. Kolawole Oluwadare, thank you so much for your time this morning. And of course, we wish SERAP the best. They've, of course, been a very, very vocal body since, its foundation. Thank you so much for your time. We look forward to speaking with you again.
Thanks.
And thank you very much because it's all of us, SERAP and the rest of
Absolutely.
Nigeria. We wish ourselves the best. We hope that this is extended for our benefit.